Do you want to get set up to build a Slack app? Watch this. Hello and welcome back to Slack School. My name is Mike Reynolds. I'm your host. I'm part of the Slack team here at Salesforce, and today we're going to set up your computer so that you can build your very own Slack app. Now, you might not be a developer. You might be a person who prefers to use your mouse as opposed to your keys. That's all well and good. Building Slack apps is pretty easy. It's very approachable, and I'm going to assume you've never done any of this before. I'm actually going to start off with installing VS Code. VS Code is what we call an IDE. That's an integrated developer environment. You don't really need to know that. You don't really need to know much of anything to be able to follow the steps that I'm doing. You can also get your own IDE. There's a lot of them that are out there. VS Code is free, and it works on both a Mac and a PC, and basically everybody else is using it. If you'd like to use a different one, that's fine. I'm just not going to show the instructions on that. So let's get after it. It stopped. Really? Yeah. We're going to begin by downloading VS Code. If you want a link to that, and if you want the instructions to be able to follow along with me, you can go right here. I'm in the Slack community, which you can get into at slackcommunity.com. And I'm in this Slack School channel. There's a folder up at the top called Stuff from the Episodes, and we've got a file called the Slack Dev Setup. This is what you need. You can get the link to download VS Code right here. That's the main download page, so you can get the instructions for Mac or PC or Linux. I'm going to go ahead and install VS Code. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue without signing in. Right now, doesn't really matter. It's asking me to choose a theme. I'm going to go with this high contrast theme because I love that. This is a new setup process. I'm going to go ahead and skip all of that. And I'll just double click this to make it a little bit bigger. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this build with an agent that's on the sidebar, so we'll close that. And I do want, we're going to use is what's called a terminal. So a terminal, you might hear some people call this a shell. It's just a place where you can send a command. And so we're going to open our terminal by clicking Terminal, New Terminal. And so this is really all we need to be able to do what we're going to do today. The first thing we're going to do is install a program called Homebrew. Homebrew is a very lightweight package management tool. You don't have to use this, but it makes things dramatically easier. You'll see the difference between what we need to do to install Homebrew itself when we don't have the tool, and then what it takes to install anything with Homebrew. So I'm going to follow the instructions that I've already written out here, and we're at step 1, installing Homebrew. So I'm going to copy this whole command right here. And as you can see, this command has a lot of different parts to it. And honestly, I don't really need to worry about any of those. I'm just going to hit paste and install. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm going to enter my password. Which, by the way, when you enter your password into a terminal, the cursor doesn't move. That's normal. You are typing your password. Go ahead and type and hit enter. And it's verifying because this is the very first time I've done this. Xcode command line tools is another aspect of this that it's going to install for me. I want that, so I'm just going to hit enter. All right. Homebrew and Xcode have been installed, and that was the hardest part. So the next thing that we're going to do, if I go back to the instructions, we want to validate that the installation was successful. This is going to be a pattern that we do each time just to make sure that things are good. And I've got the command here. It's brew, then -- version. So we can check to make sure that our installation was successful by typing brew -- version. This is a pattern we will do every time. You should just get something saying that whatever the thing we're looking for, in this case, Homebrew, was installed, and then it'll give you a version number. as long as you get some type of response back, that means that you're doing it right. The next thing that we're going to do, if I check our thing over here, is we're going to install Node.js. Now, this is one of the 2 runtime options that we have. We're going to explain what a runtime is in another episode, but we're going to install both Deno and Node.js. So let's take care of that first one, which is Node.js. The installation here is really easy. You can remember we had a lot to copy and paste and figure out with Homebrew, but with Node, it's going to be really simple because we have Homebrew. We can just type the word brew, install Node. There we go. And again, let's just check the version. This is going to be the same thing. We're going to go with node space -- version. And I get an answer back. I'm on version 26.3. That's great. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with Deno, and it's going to look the same. Just brew install Deno. All right. And again, let's check a version to make sure that we got it. That's going to be Deno space -- version. Perfect. Let's see what's next. We've got Node. Now we can move on to the Slack CLI, and then we're going to do the Salesforce CLI. The Slack CLI is a little bit different because we have to type --cask. It's a little bit different, but I think we can do it. So we're going to go brew install --cask space Slack CLI with a dash in there. All right. So let's check the version there, which is going to be Slack -- version. And there we go. I'm on version 4.2. And now let's install Salesforce, which is brew install SF. And then we'll check the version. Again, just SF -- version. And it's telling me what Salesforce CLI here I have, which is great. The last step that we're going to do is checking for some extensions. So VS Code is an integrated developer environment. And one of the things that that means is that I have the ability to do more than just use a terminal. A terminal is this little bit that I have at the bottom, but I could also see some code. And this could be maybe my manifest, like we talked about in the Creating Apps 101 video, or it could be really any other piece of code that you're working on. What we're going to do is install some extensions. So over on the left, you've got 3 blocks with 1 block that's tilted. We're going to click on that icon, and there's a lot of extensions that you can install. Anybody working in the Salesforce ecosystem, I'm definitely going to recommend Salesforce Extension Pack Extended. So if you come down here, it's this one over here, the Salesforce Extension Pack Extended. This is going to take care of so many different things. I trust all of this. I've used this many, many times before. The Salesforce Extension Pack is going to help install a boatload of things that just make working with Salesforce a little bit easier. Namely, it'll allow you to connect to Salesforce, which is super handy. Well, there you have it. Getting ready to build a custom application for Slack is as easy as anything. Let us know what you thought of the episode by jumping into the Slack community at slackcommunity.com. Join us in the Slack School channel and let us know what you thought, or give me a suggestion for another episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Oh, hey, did a great job. Do you want to get, ouch, don't bite me. This is my desk. I work here.